What if I told you that one of the longest-running couples on reality TV just made the messiest conceivable introduction? The internet would be in ruins. I'm referring to Chrissy, the self-described ride-or-die queen, who broke down in front of millions of people when Jim Jonesy chose to go nuclear and release her private hotel footage, including Common. Imagine it, Chrissy. The rumor mill didn't only spin when Jim hit publish, it exploded. Betrayal is yelled by fans. On a Saturday, the streets of Harlem are more lively than a barbershop, and celebrities are subtweeting as if it were there. Side gig. Here's the true query, though. How did we arrive here? At all? How does a purported ride-or-die romance become a public courtroom with Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok serving as the jury all at once? And believe me, this story is more than just messy. So if you think you know how it will finish, you don't. Fans are glued to the refresh button, careers are made, and reputations are destroyed in this type of turmoil. So lock in, because the ride starts now. Let's establish the scene and rewind the tape. Because you are completely mistaken if you believe that this mayhem just appeared out of nowhere. For years, Jim Jones and Chrissy have been the most popular roller coaster couple on reality TV, always vacillating between relationship objectives and having someone contact a therapist. Their entire relationship has been one continuous audition for the messiest soap opera in the world, complete with hip-hop and love meltdowns and tabloid rumors. Fans, however, continue to hold the belief that they are untouchable. However, underneath the shiny exterior of Bonnie and Clyde, as they were known in Harlem, you will see fissures that were just ready to burst. You see? Jim has consistently portrayed himself as the ride-or-die rapper who, no matter what, had Chrissy at his side. However, insiders have been leaking information behind Instagram filters and velvet ropes for years. The pair loved to pretend that everything was picture perfect, but it wasn't. There were late-night filming sessions that concluded with shady phone conversations and paparazzi pictures of Jim laughing uncontrollably with non-Chrissy ladies. Not to mention Chrissy's notorious moment when she begged Jim for the ring he refused to give her during her nationally televised proposal. There was more to the event than mere TV drama. It served as a template for the imbalance that permeates their fairy tale before making its way into Common. Yes. Leave a remark for the rapper/actor/professional.com person who always seems to show up where the drama is most intense. He is frequently referred to as the hip-hop philosopher on the internet. Let's face it, though, his dating history is less of a list of soulmates and more akin to a Hollywood casting call. Tiffany Haddish, Erykah Badu, Serena Williams, Akahu appears to be Chrissy. Furthermore, if the rumors are to be believed, this was no accidental hookup. It is said that the majority of fans were unaware of these two's background. Things that happen in the studio remain the same as they were in the past. Chrissy's history includes that small addendum. It turns out that it wasn't that little dot. Anonymous sources claim that since you are aware that we own them for weeks, Jim had disregarded warnings. Dipset's friends and family were sending him direct messages with comments like, "Keep your eyes open, and she isn't where she says she is." However, Jim, ever the arrogant Harlem veteran, dismissed it. Why wouldn't he? C was meant to be his rock, the one who supported him over years of his avoiding commitment like it was the IRS, through indictments and through industry feuds. Why? Would she risk everything now if she could survive all of that? It turns out that sometimes the most heinous betrayals are the ones you don't anticipate until a hotel door falls off its hinges. Yes, exactly. With his hoodie drawn, his fists clenched, and two of his best friends following him with their phones already filming. Jim entered a posh hotel in the heart of the city, like a man possessed on that fateful night. He wasn't speculating. He wasn't making any assumptions. He was aware, and that was verified by the murmurs coming from behind that broken door. A glass clinking, quiet voice, then laughing. Jim's last confidence was broken, along with the hinges, by the time his boot made contact with the door. And the interior scene was more chaotic than anybody could have predicted. Jim witnessed more than just treachery as that door flew wide. It's the type of moment that makes everyone on the internet say, "No way." Sitting across from her, cool as ever, was Common, leaning back in a chair, glass of Hennessy in hand, looking like he had just pulled off the world's calmest heist. Chrissy, the woman who once sobbed on reality TV pleading for commitment, sat frozen on the edge of the bed, makeup smudged, eyes wide like a deer caught in headlights. Just that signature poker expression, as though pandemonium were something without any terror or shame. He placed an order from the menu for room service. It exploded instantly. According to witnesses, Jim first remained silent. He let forth a shout. A rumbling rumble shook the walls. This type of anger is only triggered when betrayal goes deeper than any industry feud could, among all people. Chrissy's hands shook in her lap as he allegedly yelled, his voice rattling the floor. Phones were whipped out right away because in 2025, did anything happen if it wasn't captured on camera? Shortly after, grainy videos of hallways began to circulate on Twitter. Before Jim had even left the building, TikTok edits with dramatic music overlays appeared. And hashtags like Chrissy Exposed and Jim Viscone were trending globally. But it gets even worse from here. There were rumors that the first released video wasn't the work of an unidentified spectator. Jim himself said that. Consider that to prevent anybody else from rewriting the story. The betrayed lover chose to turn his own shame into a weapon by posting it online. It wasn't only heartbreak, if that's accurate. It wasn't checkers. It was chess. And based on the speed at which the video went viral, Jim was well aware of the type of conflagration he was going to start. Let's now discuss reactions. As the internet never passes up the opportunity to transform suffering into memes, Twitter turned into a battlefield in a matter of hours. Some supporters spoke up for Chrissy, claiming that she was sick of waiting for Jim to give her the ring that she had been pleading for since the first term of Obama. Those who posted side-by-side videos of her sobbing on love and hip-hop with captions like she wanted a ring but ended up chasing old flames ruthlessly degraded her. Conversely, Common ended up being the unwelcome star of 1,000 TIK2Ks in one widely shared video. Common quietly sipped Hennessy while stitching together Jim's irate scream. The caption read, "When you're the villain, but also the vibe." The so-called receipts followed. Grainy images of purported text chats between Chrissy and Common began to appear on anonymous accounts. Phrases like, "Jim will never change," and "at least you make me feel" spread like wildfire, leading many to believe that this was a serious emotional affair that had been simmering for months rather than a one-night fling. It didn't even matter if the texts were authentic. The court of public opinion had already found Chrissy guilty before dawn, and everyone was now amused by Jim's suffering. However, you should reconsider if you believed that this story reached its climax in that hotel room, because another bombshell was dropped. Just as the internet was starting to recover its breath, there are rumors about an even more shocking film that Jim still has sealed. A film that might permanently ruin Chrissy's reputation. According to sources, the controversy shifted from a messy drama to a full-fledged circus at this point. Since the question was not whether he would disclose it, but rather when, because insiders claimed that the alleged second video contained more than just a shot of Chrissy laughing uncontrollably at Common's offensive comments. It was much worse. The video allegedly revealed late-night meetings, whispered chats, and exchanges that were more like planning than romance. Jim's close friends and family began to imply that Chrissy wasn't only unfaithful, she was plotting. Wasn't about affection. This was about power, about leverage, about making Jim look like a fool. One unidentified insider muttered to bloggers, "Overnight, Chrissy's entire reputation might collapse if the tape is ever seen." Naturally, the consequences were not limited to the pair. An opinion sprang forth. It became the week's most talked about issue on talk shows. Podcasters, exploited every detail while YouTube reactors analyzed the videos bit by frame, amassing millions of views. Even famous people commented, with some using cryptic tweets to disparage Chrissy. Others are tacitly supporting common men as though he required a public relations firm to polish his image as a Zen teacher who turned home wrecker. It was no longer only rumors, it was now considered a cultural event. Then the legal rumors surfaced. According to reports, attorneys were circling Jim, telling him that releasing a private video may put him in court sooner rather than later. Then a Dipset reunion tour. In an attempt to reframe the situation in Chrissy's favor, her camp allegedly began writing comments regarding privacy issues and defamation. However, a harm had already been done. The memes had already spread over the world before she got a chance to speak. The internet had already deemed her guilty after the videos had been viewed millions of times. Oh, the financial repercussions were also imminent. Brand agreements that had previously viewed Chrissy as a fierce reality star who was now an influencer abruptly stopped talking. Her social media advertisers began removing postings more quickly. Then you could reload her Instagram page after a rumored fashion collaboration ended. Fans even attacked Emin, accusing him of destroying another woman's life for a headline that went viral for days with the hashtag common denominator trended. For several days, the kicker is this. Though Jim refused to give up. Unlike the majority of humiliated celebrities, he doubled down instead of withdrawing into quiet. He vowed that the truth will always come out in the end, then alluded on Instagram Live that the streets haven't even seen the actual footage yet. The fans went crazy. Others are warning him that he would permanently destroy Chrissy, while others are pleading with him to reveal it. However, one thing was evident. Jim had made a weapon out of his anguish. And Chrissy's breakdown wasn't just a personal one. It was suddenly public property, which is the perverse allure of online controversies, isn't it? You may be the ride-or-die pair that people support 1 minute, and then you're a hot issue that the entire world is watching. Jim's anger, Chrissy's tears, and the Commons' commitment all subsided. One unanswered question persisted. When the dust cleared, would Jim release that last video at last? Or was his ultimate form of retaliation to keep the globe on edge? Because in this game, sometimes what you withhold is more scandalous than what you expose. I must now ask you, was this the height of treachery, or just another episode of the messiest love story in hip-hop history? Do you believe Jim will release that last tape? Or is this just a big ploy for influence? Leave your comments below. Press the subscribe button and remain logged in as the reality only becomes more repulsive from